Could you please tell me when this is? Any guess?
6th of August, 2009.
Well, you're from Europe, so it must be August. You're from Europe, so it must be August.
In June, in Europe it's August, right? Okay, I have the correct answers here. In the US, it's interpreted like this, right? In the UK, and well, as you consider most of the world, anywhere where you've been conquerors,
Not the US, obviously.
it's August. Sorry?
Not the US, obviously.
Well, no, you had your liberation issues and. But actually, when it comes to Sweden, that has never been occupied by either the United States or the UK. We would actually think that this is 2006.
Also possible.
That's another possibility, yeah. So this means that you have to be aware of where does this user come from when they enter their dates, because they could mean any of this.
Yep.
And encoding doesn't deal with that. You have to do that on an application level. Be aware of that. And what your watchers should be aware of is that Lasso, as we have it right now, defaults to using US dates. If you just ask for a date, you will get it presented in the US format. But Lasso 9, and I might add MySQL, uses the ISO standard for dates. So if you ask for the exact same thing in Lasso 9, you will get a different answer. It will be the same date, but it will be formatted differently. You should look for that in your applications. Wherever you assume that dates are formatted in the US format, you have to explicitly tell them to stay that way, or they will be displayed as this in Lasso 9. It's probably not an issue for me, because since I want them like this, I've had to deal with this here. I've always had to format the dates before I could display them or save them to a database. But US citizens have not had that problem so far. Think about that. Yeah, I said that. And you can't go around this. I mean, MySQL doesn't treat anything as a date that's not formatted as an ISO date, like this. They would consider it garbage. So you can't change that behavior. You have to adopt or stop using dates. Here's another issue. This is kind of specific for Sweden, I think, but I'm not sure we're alone about it. But could I please get a recommendation? We have David here. What does it say there?
2.009.
Exactly. What does the US community say?
2009.
We use a decimal comma in Sweden, and our keyboards are actually mapped that way as well. So if you look at the numeric keyboard on a Swedish keyboard, there's no dot, it's a comma. And that means that when Swedes are entering decimal numbers into your solution, it will look like this. And if that's not what you're expecting, you have to deal with it on an application level.
Is that peculiar to Sweden alone, or is it
I don't know. What's the Norwegian representative saying?
Germany is the same.
Germany
Holland is the
Holland
same.
is the same.
So no, we're not alone.
No.
France is the same.
All Europe is the same.
Yeah.
Even the UK, I think.
We're using comma as a decimal separator, and we're using space as a what would you say, a thousand separator. Yeah. Where states use comma as a thousand separator and a dot as decimal
See,
separator.
they all got mixed up there when they went
Well,
there 200 years ago.
We just have to deal with it, because actually, even if MySQL is a Swedish solution, they still treat decimals with a point and not with a comma. So if you want it entered into a MySQL database, you have to convert this to use a comma instead, or it will be interpreted as an integer. And vice versa, when you export it out of the database and you want to display for the user, if they are from Germany, Holland, Sweden, etc., you need to convert it into a decimal comma for them to interpret it correctly.
There is no universal way to do it.
I have a fairly complicated solution that involves JavaScript conversion and several steps on the server. I'm not happy with it. I'm not going to show it because it's a hack, but it's working for me. But no, I haven't found no easy way to deal with this. I don't think there's a setting for it in Lasso to say treat decimal commas as treat decimal separated with a comma.
Yeah.
Would be nice, but I don't think there is.
Yeah, we don't see though. Like Lasso won't recognize the comma.
Exactly.
Like it doesn't know what to do with that, with a comment in it at all.
Wouldn't it treat it as an integer?
I don't think it recognizes the comma.
As a thousand separator. So if people use that when they enter numbers, it will get screwed up.
Pretty sure.
Ah, okay.
It's like we only recognize the decimal.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's normal.
Well, if you have any questions and you're not sure that I can answer them, I have some reading for you here. You can check it out. And then I'm going to do some advertising as well. I'm doing 4 seminars here, so please don't miss the next one. You could choose between listen to Bill's very boring seminar about regular expressions, or you could come to my seminar showing you an open source calendar application that is ready to download and be installed on your own solution based on jQuery and using Lasso as a backend. That's your choice. I've already made mine. You could also tomorrow come to the PDF seminar, but note if you've heard me talk about PDFs before, then don't show up because I'm actually doing more or less a rerun of the last year's presentation. This is for beginners, for anyone who's curious about the PDF tags. So please, Bill, don't come. Well, that was it, actually. Thanks for listening. Oh, a question!
Yeah, no, I was just, sometimes, you know, you can wonder about them, probably most people know it, but, you know, when you're dealing with international things and stuff like that, if you go into the preferences in your Mac and go to international and go to formats, you can see pretty much every format that people are using, you know, so it's very valuable for just seeing what is typical to do in Spain and in Norway and Sweden. You know, so people don't realize that, but it's a good way to see what's
Yeah, a good tip. Use Macintosh was the basic summary of that tip, right, Bill?
I got that.
Could somebody tell me how to save a FileMaker file in UTF-8 so I can get rid of my client's curly Microsoft quotes?
You want to get rid of them?
Well, I don't want to. Well,
Yeah, I'd like to get rid of them.
And above.
It's 8.5. Save as well. I just had a look. I can't find it. Just save that.
I don't use FileMaker.
No, I don't either anymore.
Export.
Mm.